number 10, James Franco. It's no longer a surprise to anyone that James is a bad dude, but his misdeeds date back to 2005. James and Tyrese Gibson starred opposite each other in a 2005 dramatic piece called Annapolis. The story follows Franco's character wanting to attend the titular Naval Academy and entering into a boxing tournament against some of the Navy's best and brightest. His main opponent is Tyrese Gibson. Throughout the majority of filming, James and Tyrese would regularly practice the choreography for the final fight of the film. Now, method acting is one thing when you just pretend to be someone else all the time, but it's different when you're literally punching your co-star for real. Instead of the normal film choreography allowing actors to fake hit each other, Franco was throwing real punches without warning. Gibson tried to be civil at first and asked him to lighten up, but Franco ignored him and continued to box his heart out. When asked about the incident in interviews, Franco defended himself by saying he was aware he made the set difficult at times and claimed to be so wrapped up in his role that he probably wasn't as friendly as he could be. Gibson, however, holds a massive grudge towards Franco, claiming he'd never step foot in the same room as him ever again. Good news for Tyrese, James got cancelled and Fast 11 comes out soon. At number 9, Bill Murray. Sony's first foray into the world of Charlie's Angels was a massive success when it was released, starring Cameron Diaz, Drew Barrymore, and Lucy Liu as the Angels. The movie was filled with action, a bit of comedy, and one of the strangest performances ever delivered by Crispin Glover. Oh my god, that guy needs help. One interesting addition to the cast was the inclusion of Ghostbusters alumni Bill Murray as the man behind the mic Bosley. Apparently, the set was anything but a comedy after Bill found out a scene was rewritten without his knowledge. In an interview with the news outlet Deadline, Lucy Liu spoke about her time on set and the situation surrounding Bill's outburst. Apparently, he was away for a family event when a scene needed to be reshot for the film. Instead of using a stand-in, it was decided that the scene could be filmed without Murray's character being involved, so the scene went on without him. When he returned to find the change was made while he was gone, he was furious. He reportedly shouted at half the crew, including Lucy herself. At first, she wasn't sure why he was aiming his comments at her. She didn't write the scene, she wasn't the director. She asked if Bill was talking to her, which sent him into a full-blown meltdown. She decided to speak out on Bill's behavior on set, and he was ultimately written out of the sequel. Lucy is proud for speaking her mind despite being a relatively unknown actress at the time, and is glad that Bill's career seems to have suffered for it, because Lucy was just the first of many celebs to comment on his behavior, but let's save that for another time. At number 8, Jennifer Aniston. In 2010, Elle asked actor Jay Moore to describe his most awkward interaction with a female celebrity. Moore responded with a blind item that involved a certain leading lady who was upset to learn that he would be playing her love interest. This mystery diva reportedly yelled, "You've got to be kidding me," right to his face. He then revealed that the behavior that followed led to Moore regularly, quote, "go to my mom's house and cry." Asked if the actress happened to be Aniston, who played his love interest in the 1997 film Picture Perfect, Moore said he will never ever answer that. Well, on his More Stories podcast, he did answer that. Moore claimed Aniston pointed right at him on the first day of rehearsal and screamed, "6 guys they screen test. 6. The one effing guy I hate, that's the guy they hire." This apparently went on the entire day as Aniston kept bad-mouthing him to their co-star. Regardless of what really happened on that Picture Perfect soundstage, Moore has apparently never forgiven Aniston. In 2016, Sports Illustrated asked what was more satisfying, kissing Jen Aniston or firing Tom Cruise's character in Jerry Maguire. Moore answered, without question, firing Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is hotter. At number 7, Jennifer Lopez. The 2020 Super Bowl saw 2 pop icons taking the stage and making the night about them and not football. Shakira and Jennifer Lopez appeared together. They absolutely slayed, and their performance has gone down in history as the most memorable and shimmy-filled night in the NFL. Unfortunately, Jennifer did not want to share the stage. Following the show, as a part of her Netflix documentary Halftime, it was revealed that she was extremely annoyed at the NFL for forcing her to share the stage when she felt strong enough on her own, literally calling it the worst idea in the world. Her main concern was the fact that herself and Shakira were meant to occupy and share the same amount of stage time as a normal solo act rather than doubling it like she assumed would happen. Solo artists are normally given between 12 and 16 minutes of stage time, with most artists using that time to do a mashup of their most popular songs. In the documentary, a clip revealed that Jennifer yelled at her music director, complaining that she had 6 effing minutes, 30 seconds per song. Not enough. The worst idea is putting multiple people on the stage. To prove her wrong, one of the most recent performances on the Super Bowl stage saw 6 major artists share the 12-minute spot. Dr. Dre, Eminem, Snoop Dogg, 50 Cent, Mary J. Blige, and Kendrick Lamar were all able to make it work and work work well, but Jen couldn't even fathom the 6 minutes she had to perform. At number 6, Jared Leto. Jared Leto has been a problematic figure in the world of Hollywood throughout a majority of his career. After first gaining notoriety for portraying the character of Lane Dixon alongside Dennis Quaid and Danny Glover, Leto quickly began building up his acting repertoire with roles in iconic films like Mr. Nobody, Girl Interrupted, and even taking a turn as the Clown Prince of Darkness, the Joker, in the 2016 film The Suicide Squad, which landed him a spot on this list. Jared has always taken method acting to the extreme, losing and gaining weight rapidly over and over again. It was this film in which he may have snapped. While playing the iconic Batman villain, Leto purposefully distanced himself from his fellow actors on set, and reports are that he sent his castmates used adult toys. At one point during filming Captain Boomerang, actor Jay Courtney found a live snake in his trailer following a long shooting day. The snake wasn't venomous, but I think we can all agree that's a big ol' nope. In recent years, he's claimed that any gifts sent to his castmates were sent with the intent of joy and excitement and were received as such. I don't know, exposing your fellow actors to your bodily fluids and actual snakes doesn't sound very exciting to me. At number 5, Wesley Snipes. Ryan Reynolds is known for many things. He's got his toes dipped into the world of adult beverages, wireless cell phone coverage, and he's even a soccer coach. One of his most iconic roles as an actor is of course Mr. Deadpool himself. However, in 2008, Ryan was a part of a different Marvel movie. As some may know, the original Marvel movie that started this whole live-action comics trend was the Blade trilogy, starring Wesley Snipes as the titular vampire hunter. By the time of the third film of the franchise rolled around, Wesley Snipes was just done with working on set. He hated the way the franchise was turning out, and all of his creative suggestions were quickly shut down. His main problem, though, was the fact that Blade Trinity was written as a straight-up comedy movie. The previous entries were dark action movies filled with gore and some pretty stellar fight sequences, so when Van Wilder was cast to be his co-star, he gave up. He famously refused to film several scenes unless he was allowed to keep his shades on, and apparently he was micro-napping during scenes because he just didn't care anymore. Ryan played a big part in his difficulty enjoying the shoot, making it his mission to make Wesley snap. He would constantly do bits, push things too far, just the general Ryan Reynolds chaos that we're used to at this point. At the end of the day, Blade Trinity ended up burying the franchise and was one of the most chaotic and toxic film sets of 2004. At number 4, Kiefer Sutherland. The man known for his roles in movies like Lost Boys and Stand By Me has built a nice little place for himself in Hollywood. For a long time, he was starring in the crime drama 24. Many celebrities have made small cameos and recurring roles on the show, but in 2010, Scooby-Doo actor Freddie Prinze Jr. was cast as Agent Cole Ortiz. Despite the massive success of the show, the job left him scarred, admitting that he hated every moment of it. According to Freddie, Kiefer is the most unprofessional dude in the world. Continuing to say that he wasn't talking trash, this was something he would happily say to Kiefer's face, and apparently a ton of his co-stars agree that he makes filming a living nightmare. Following the end of his character's time on the show, he did slow down in the acting world, now limiting himself to voiceover and cameo roles. The odd thing was that while there were some backing up Freddie's story, there were a higher number of defenders for Sutherland, claiming the exact opposite experience. Some say he's the most professional man in the world, so if anyone watching this knows Kiefer, weigh in. Are you Team Kiefer good or Kiefer bad? At number 3, Alyssa Milano. Alright, so let's talk about the show Charmed for a moment, a solid series that was on the air for almost 10 years. The series followed 3 sisters who discovered they were descendants of a line of good female witches and are destined to fight against the forces of evil. Yeah, it was a fun show, however, just because you play sisters on set doesn't mean you're as close in real life. Rose McGowan and Alyssa Milano had a very public altercation that resulted in a little incident on set being shared with the world. Rose claimed that Alyssa threw a fit in front of the crew yelling, "They don't pay me enough to do this stuff," only she didn't say stuff. She called Alyssa's behavior appalling, claiming she cried every time the show got renewed for another season because it meant more time on a toxic set. Alyssa never shared her own comments on the situation, confirming what she was being accused of. At number 2, Richard Gere. Richard Gere is one of those actors that doesn't really act. Sometimes people just get hired for films because they have the face for it or the style. For Richard Gere, he did not have enough class and moxie to keep a handle on his role in the film The Lords of Flatbush. He was cast to star alongside Rocky himself, Sylvester Stallone, and according to Sly, these two did not get along. Their beef was strong and long-lasting throughout production until it finally came to a head when one day Richard was a little too into a scene and grabbed Sylvester aggressively by the collar. When Stallone told him to lay off, he laid in instead. The scene was being filmed on Coney Island, and when the actors took a break, they tried to break each other. Stallone was eating a hot dog alone in a car. Sounds peaceful. But suddenly, Richard stormed in to join him with half a chicken dripping in mustard. Despite Sly's warning about the mustard, it dripped all over his pants. In true Rocky fashion, he elbowed Richard in the head and threw him out of the car. The altercation resulted in Richard being fired from the project. Oh no, we have to decide between Richard Gere and Sylvester Stallone. I wonder how quick that decision was. And at number 1, Dustin Hoffman. Dustin is a very easy man to spot. Not only is he a solid actor, but he has a very specific face. Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium, anyone? Remember that movie? I did not remember that existed until I started writing this script. I will be watching that tonight. Despite his ability to play lovable and cheerful characters, he actually started out as somewhat of a villain. On the second day of filming his more famous part in Kramer vs. Kramer, Dustin decided to improvise a scene where he strikes his co-star Meryl Streep across the face. Let me rephrase that. Dustin Hoffman thought it would be a great idea to strike Meryl Streep. Mamma mia, that's not okay. Not only was Meryl shocked by the move, but she recalled that Dustin was also trying to use a tactic on her called emotional recall, taunting her about her late partner John Cazale and his illness.
Number 10. Bill Murray. Sony's first venture into the world of Charlie's Angels was a massive success, starring Cameron Diaz, Drew Barrymore, and Lucy Liu as the titular angels. The movie was filled with action, a bit of comedy, and one of the strangest performances ever delivered by Crispin Glover. Seriously, that guy needs some help. One interesting addition to the cast was the inclusion of Ghostbusters alumni Bill Murray as the man behind the mic in charge of the Angels, Bosley. Apparently the set was anything but a comedy after Bill found out that a scene was rewritten without his knowledge. In an interview with the news outlet Deadline, Lucy Liu spoke up about her time on set and the situation surrounding Bill Murray's outburst. Apparently Bill was away for a family event when a scene needed to be reshot for the movie, but instead of using a stand-in, it was decided that the scene could be filmed without Murray's character even being involved, so the scene went on without him. When he returned to find that the change was made while he was gone, he was furious. He reportedly shouted at half of the crew, including Lucy herself. At first she wasn't sure why he was aiming his comments at her. She's not the one who wrote the scene, she wasn't the director or anything, so she asked if Bill was talking to her, which sent him into a full-on meltdown. She decided to speak out on Bill's behavior on set, and Bill was ultimately written out of the sequel. Lucy is proud for speaking her mind despite being a relatively unknown actor at the time, and has always been glad that Bill's career seems to have suffered for it, because Lucy was just the first of many celebrities to comment on his behavior, but we'll save that for another time. Number 9. Dustin Hoffman. Dustin is a very easy man to spot. Not only is he a solid actor, but he has just a very specific face. You know, Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium, anyone? That's an old one. Despite his ability to play lovable and cheerful characters, he actually started out as somewhat of a villain in the world of Hollywood. On the second day of filming his more famous part in Kramer vs. Kramer, Dustin decided to improvise a scene where he strikes Meryl Streep across the face. Let me rephrase that. Dustin Hoffman thought it'd be a great idea to strike Meryl Streep. Mamma mia, that's not okay. Get it? She was in Mamma Mia. I'm so good at this. Not only was Meryl shocked by the move, but she recalled that Dustin was also trying to use a tactic on her called emotional recall, and was literally taunting her about her recently deceased partner John Cazale and his illness. Yay! Number 8. James Franco. Tyrese Gibson and James Franco starred opposite each other in a 2005 dramatic piece called Annapolis. The story follows Franco's character wanting to attend the titular Naval Academy and entering into a boxing tournament against some of the Navy's best and brightest. His main opponent is Tyrese Gibson. Throughout the majority of the filming, James and Tyrese would regularly practice their choreography for their final fight of the film. Now, method acting is one thing when you just pretend to be someone else all the time, but it's different when you're literally punching your co-stars for real. Instead of the normal choreography allowing actors to like fake strike each other, Franco was throwing real punches without warning. Gibson tried to be civil at first and asked him to lighten up, but Franco ignored him and continued to just box his heart out. When asked about the incident in interviews, Franco defends himself by saying that he was aware that he made the set difficult all the time, and claimed to be so wrapped up in his role that he probably just wasn't as friendly as he could have been. Gibson, however, holds a massive grudge towards Franco, claiming that he'd never stepped foot foot in the same room as him ever again. So good news for Tyrese, James got cancelled and Fast 11 comes out next week. Number 7, Ryan Gosling. The Notebook is considered to be one of the greatest romantic movies ever made in Hollywood, but oddly enough, the on-screen couple did not get along at all during the shoot. They would constantly fight on set and seem to have completely opposite ideas on how several of the scenes should play out. One day in particular was pretty exciting for anyone who wasn't involved, drama watchers sipping their tea, as Ryan called over the director and demanded that Rachel McAdams be replaced by another actress to read her lines with him. In front of 150 crew members, he claimed that Rachel wasn't giving him anything to work with, and the two would constantly yell at each other on set. Their toxic on-set feud somehow morphed into a toxic relationship that lasted for 2 years. Anyone who worked on the set blames them for constant schedule setbacks and creating an overall difficult work environment. Number 6, Tom Hardy. Mad Max Fury Road is a forgotten gem in cinema history. It featured little to no CGI, despite having some insane visuals, and it also featured some pretty stellar performances from its cast, including Nicholas Hoult, Charlize Theron, and Tom Hardy. But Charlize and Tom played the main characters Furiosa and Max, and while their on-screen characters end up working together in the end, on set, pretty different vibe. Tom had a bad habit of showing up late all the time. Meanwhile, Charlize was a brand new mother who would be there on time every single day, while her kids were forced to be taken care of by someone else. In a book about Mad Max Fury Road, the wild and true story of the creation of the film, the writer Kyle Buchanan shared an instance on set between Charlize and Tom. Everybody was there at 8 a.m. ready to shoot except for Tom Hardy. But to make a point, Charlize took her place and stayed there till Tom showed up 3 hours later. She didn't move a muscle, and according to the crew, she was beyond furious. When Tom finally showed up, she asked him how he could be so disrespectful and said that they should fine the CNX Tuesday $100,000 for every minute that he held her up, and the crew. She didn't say CNX Tuesday, but the word she did say set Tom off. He rushed up to her and pulled out the whole "what did you say to me" thing. Yeah, big tough guy, huh? He can't hear so good. Overall, Charlize felt very uncomfortable with Tom and had to have an assistant follow her around on set as a buffer between the two. When the shoot wrapped, the tension was gone and things seemed to have gotten better, but the difficult shoot combined with the stress is probably why there was never a Mad Max 2, which really hurts. Seriously, if you made it and you're watching this, make another one. Number 5, Vin Diesel. Dwayne Johnson and Vin Diesel first met on the set of the 5th Fast and Furious movie, Fast 5. They're really good with names. This was Vin Diesel's 5th movie, while it was Dwayne's first. Not just in the franchise, but in the acting world in general. He had been in small budget movies, but this was a big budget movie. At first, everything seemed to be okay with these guys on set. Fast 5 made a ton of money, and they asked Dwayne to return for 6 and 7. However, something changed in 2016 when, in a now deleted post, Dwayne called one of his fellow Fast 7 co-stars a candied bum. He didn't say bum, but we can't swear on the internet, so I'm a toddler today. He actually said a word that rhymes with grass. Rumors began to fly that this was more than likely referencing Vin Diesel. Rumors proven only a few weeks after the post was made. Following the premiere of Fate of the Furious, Johnson posted on Instagram thanking all of his fellow co-stars and cast members by name except for Vin Diesel. It was later confirmed by Fast and Furious co-star Michelle Rodriguez that there was a massive amount of tension on set between these guys. They were bros at first, but as time went on and the franchise evolved, so did their egos. They fought constantly over who should get more screen time, who should get more money, who was the real lead of the franchise. You know, toxic masculinity and all that. To keep both actors happy, Johnson was given a spin-off movie in which he co-starred as the lead with Jason Statham, and Vin Diesel was left right where he belongs with his family. Number 4, Janet Hubert. Will Smith got his big break in the acting world thanks to his successful time on the sitcom Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. The show followed Will as the titular prince, living with his wealthy family in Bel-Air, surrounded by cousins, uncles, and of course, Aunt Viv. In season 1, Aunt Viv was played by a woman named Janet Hubert Witten, but as a lot of people know, she was recasted after an on-set feud with Will Smith just went way too far. According to Will, Janet viewed him as an antagonist. She had been in the business for years when Will suddenly popped into her life and took lead of a show. She held a tinge of jealousy towards Will as he just walked into town, got the gig, and that's it, you know? Well, hey Janet, I'm sorry, but that's what happens when you're good at your job. She was trying to convince the producers of his show to give her character more screen time and allow her to breathe on camera, but they said no, because it's not the Aunt Viv show, okay? She fought back hard, but it was ultimately decided that she would be asked to sit out of the rest of the series and was replaced by Daphne Maxwell Reid, who is the real Aunt Viv, okay? We all know and love her. Number 3, Alyssa Milano. So, let's talk about the show Charmed for a second. This was a solid series that was on air for almost 10 years. The series followed three sisters that discover they're descendants of a line of good female witches and they're destined to fight against the forces of evil. Yeah, it was a very fun show. However, just because you play sisters on set doesn't mean that you're going to be close in real life. Rose McGowan and Alyssa Milano had a very public altercation that resulted in a little incident on set being shared with the world. Rose claimed that Alyssa threw a fit in front of the crew, yelling about not being paid enough to do the stuff that she was doing, only she didn't say stuff. She called Alyssa's behavior appalling and claimed that she cried every time the show got renewed for another season because it just meant more time on a toxic set. Alyssa never shared her own comments on the situation, confirming what she was being accused of. Number 2, Richard Gere. Richard Gere is one of those actors that doesn't really act. Sometimes people just get hired for films because they have the face for it and the style. For Richard Gere, he did not have enough class and moxie to keep a handle on his role in the film Lords of the Flatbush. He was cast to star alongside Rocky himself, Sylvester Stallone, and according to Sly, these two did not get along. Their beef was strong and long-lasting throughout production, until it finally came to a head when one day Richard was just a little bit too into one scene and grabbed Sylvester aggressively by the collar. When Sly told him to lay off, he laid in instead. The scene was being filmed on Coney Island, and when the actors took a minute to take a break, they tried to break each other. Sly was eating a hot dog alone in his car. Sounds pretty peaceful, right? But suddenly Richard stormed in to join him with half of a chicken dripping in mustard. Despite Sly's warnings about the mustard, it dripped all over his pants. And in true Rocky fashion, he elbowed Richard in the face and threw him out of his car. The altercation resulted in Richard being fired from the project. Oh no, we have to decide between Richard Gere and Sylvester Stallone. I wonder how quick that decision was. Number 1, Jared Leto. Now, Jared Leto has always been a problematic figure in the world of Hollywood throughout most of his career. After first gaining notoriety for portraying the character of Lane Dixon alongside Dennis Quaid and Danny Glover, Leto quickly began building up his acting repertoire with roles in iconic movies like Mr. Nobody, Girl Interrupted, and he even took a turn as the Clown Prince of Darkness, the Joker, in 2016, which we don't like to talk about much. It's not a good memory. Jared has always taken method acting to the extreme, losing and gaining weight rapidly over and over again, and it was in the film as the Joker where we think he might have snapped. While playing this iconic Batman villain, Leto purposefully distanced himself from his fellow actors on set, and reports are that he sent the castmates used adult toys, live animals, and deceased animals as well. At one point during filming, Captain Boomerang actor Jai Courtney found a live snake in his trailer following a long shoot day. The snake wasn't venomous or anything, but I think we can all agree that's a big nope. In recent years, he's claimed that any gifts that he sends to castmates are sent with the intent of joy and excitement, and should be received as such. But I don't know, exposing your fellow actors to your body fluids and real snakes? That doesn't sound very exciting.
At number 10, Julia Roberts. Julia Roberts seems like a nice person, and I'm sure on her off days she's lovely, but on set she's been known to be kind of a handful and has caused some drama with the people that she's worked with. Though she's often cast as nice and endearing characters, there is much more to Julia than meets the eye. Apparently, according to her co-stars and past crew members, she's a nightmare to work with. A specific time when Julia was known to be especially nightmarish was when she starred in the 1991 Spielberg film Hook, a Peter Pan film. While working on the film, Julia earned the nickname Tinkerhell as a play on her character Tinkerbell, combined with the production's perception of the actress. Apparently, during filming, she would show up to set late all the time, she would lock herself in her trailer for hours on end, she would treat people badly, and she would never apologize for her actions or behavior. She caused quite a lot of drama with the people she worked with because she just wouldn't cooperate. At number 9, Bill Murray. Bill Murray already has a bad reputation in Hollywood for his poor on-set behavior, so it's no surprise to me to find out that he's had some serious drama with one of his castmates on the set of Charlie's Angels. While filming the movie, Bill Murray was said to have antagonized actress Lucy Liu. When watching the film, you would think that they were all good friends and on good terms, but in reality it was quite the opposite. The film set was sort of a hostile work environment that caused Bill to take on a disliking towards Lucy. Turns out Bill would insult Lucy's talent and acting ability, and on one occasion even said, quote, "I get why you're here, you got talent, but what in the hell are you doing here? You can't act." Apparently the harassment and bullying got so bad at one point that Lucy tried throwing punches at Bill during a scene because his insults got so bad. This antagonizing went on for the entire duration of production, and Bill kept on berating Lucy about her presence on set and calling her unprofessional
professional as well. This drama was so unnecessary. Before we continue talking about on-set drama, why not take a quick second to leave a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far, and while you're at it, consider subscribing to the channel to see more videos like this one. At number 8, Chevy Chase. Chevy Chase is known for being in National Lampoon and the show Community, but is also known around Hollywood as being kind of a jerk and starting drama with the people that he works with. There are a bunch of articles, books, and interviews of people talking about their experiences with the actor and how mean he can be. There are even stories in the book Live from New York that detail the times that Chase has been mean to staff, writers, interns, and other hosts. Will Ferrell and Bill Murray are among those who have taken a dislike to Chase because of the way he's treated others. Will Ferrell has said that he doesn't like Chevy because of the way he treats some of the female staff members. Bill Murray and Chevy Chase even got into a brawl backstage of SNL back in the day, where they said some pretty hurtful things to each other because they were kind of comedy rivals on the show. Chevy just doesn't get along with everyone, and he said that it's because fame went to his head, but something tells me that's not the only reason he starts drama. At number 7, Ryan Gosling. Ryan Gosling is one of Hollywood's most famous actors, but he also is someone who experienced getting fired because of on-set drama, and it first happened very early on in his career. Back in the 90s, Ryan was part of the Mickey Mouse Club alongside stars like Justin Timberlake, Christina Aguilera, and Britney Spears, but after some on-set drama, Ryan got fired from Disney. Ryan didn't stick around too long on the show because in an interview from 2008, Ryan opened up about his 2 years on the Disney Channel, where he revealed that things didn't work out well between him and the studio. The La La Land actor revealed that producers from the Disney Channel show thought that Ryan had a bit of an attitude problem and was seen as a bad influence on the other kids. The actor also went on to say that he was apparently considered to be such a menace to the other kids that the mothers of his co-stars went to the executives to complain about his behavior. The studio eventually decided that Ryan wasn't Disney material because of his behavior, and he was soon let go. At number 6, Megan Fox. A director kind of counts like a co-star, right? I mean, they work together, so let's just go with it. Megan Fox has been in a few pretty successful films before being cast in the Transformers films, but after the success of this franchise, she was launched into fame. That is until things came crashing down after getting fired from her role and facing a lot of backlash because of it. When she was fired from Transformers, Michael Bay said that the decision came after she was a quote, nightmare to work with. What really happened is Megan made a comment about Michael Bay's behavior on set, commenting on how strict he was. On top of everything, when fellow director Steven Spielberg caught wind of these comments, he advised Bay to fire her, and that is exactly what happened. This drama caused Megan to lose her job and also gain a reputation of being hard to work with, which followed her for many years, so this drama really affected her a lot. Her career is slowly coming back to where it was before this drama went down. At number 5, Emma Roberts. Emma Roberts has had quite a few feuds with co-stars. She's had drama with Gabrielle Sidibe, Ariana Grande, and Evan Peters, but the biggest feud that she's had was with Lea Michele on the set of Scream Queens. According to sources, Emma Roberts and Lea Michele had one strong attribute in common, and that was the fact that they were both divas, and so while they were working together, they butt heads with each other quite often. Apparently, their fighting got so bad while working that during filming, actress Jamie Lee Curtis had to step in and mediate the hostile situation between Emma and Lea because she was just so fed up with their constant bickering while they were trying to work. It was also reported that the actresses would constantly have mean girl moments, making rude and catty comments towards each other almost daily. Rumors of this feuding between them were pretty common in entertainment news while Scream Queens was still in production, showing that things never really died down between the two actresses. It seemed like Emma just caused a heck of a lot of drama with a lot of people on set. At number 4, Lea Michele. Lea Michele was exposed last year for her Hollywood mean streak and for her terrible on-set behavior, as well as the drama that she caused with people on set. This all came out following a tweet from former Glee co-star Samantha Ware, where she let the world know how horrible it was to work with Lea. The actress is now described as quote, callous, rude, mean, and even a diva. But following Samantha's exposure of the Broadway star, other people have come forward with their own testimonies regarding Lea and her mean streak. There have been stories of Lea's microaggressions, but also stories of her spitting in craft service food that she doesn't like, refusing to work with people because they don't know her middle name, requesting reshoots because she didn't like her costume, disrespecting other castmates and having crew members apologize on her behalf, and so many other frustrating tidbits that really just showed how rude and entitled she's been known to be. It was never a dull moment on set, but not in a good way. At number 3, Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis has been really successful in his career, but it seems as though he's not all that great to be around on set. Though his films are often very well made, it all comes at a price that those who've worked alongside him have had to pay. Apparently, Bruce is a nightmare to work with as he's gotten into a number of conflicts with others on set, and they really just hate working with him. In the time before Die Hard launched his his film career, Bruce found most of his success after working on the show Moonlighting alongside his co-star Sybil Shepherd. In 2005, Shepherd dished about her time working with Bruce, where she told sources that there came a point where her relationship with Bruce became volatile and they clashed a lot on set. There was reportedly constant bickering between the two of them, and it was just a toxic environment. But Sybil isn't the only one to say that they've clashed with Bruce while working together. Filmmaker Kevin Smith has also had troubles working with the actor while filming the 2010 film Cop Out. He told sources that though Bruce was his hero in past productions, that opinion went out the window, saying that working with Bruce was almost unbearable. When talking about their time together on set, Kevin said, quote, "He turned out to be the unhappiest, most bitter, meanest, emo B-word I've ever met at any job I've held down, and mind you, I worked at Domino's Pizza. What an awful experience." End quote. At number 2, Shia LaBeouf. Shia LaBeouf has really been going through it in Hollywood. He kind of has a bad reputation now because of the conflicts he's been in, the latest of which got him fired from a movie. Because of his bad attitude and clashes on set, the actor was fired by Olivia Wilde from the upcoming film Don't Worry Darling. It was announced in late fall last year that Harry Styles would be replacing Shia in the film, and now we know that it was due to Shia's alleged bad behavior, as people have cited that Shia is, quote, "not an easy guy to work with." It was alleged that there was some kind of conflict between him and Olivia Wilde as well, and so because of that and the fact that other cast and crew members didn't like working with him, Shia was let go. Getting fired is always a negative, but in Hollywood, when your work involves relationships with others and having connections, having a bad experience that was enough to get you fired can ultimately burn that bridge and result in you having less and less connections in the industry, therefore having less and less opportunities to find work. Bottom line, starting drama at work is not good. And finally, at number 1, Mike Myers. Having things not go your way can certainly cause you to have a bad attitude about things, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you need to take your feelings out on others. When Mike Myers was filming the 2003 live-action version of The Cat in the Hat, that is exactly what he did. Because he was so cheesed that he had to do this movie, he started drama with just about everyone he worked with. After the success of Austin Powers, Mike was set to star in some more comedy films, but before that was all carried out, the actor and the studio got into some debates and there was some legal trouble, and it caused some drama. Both sides ended up reaching an agreement, and it obligated Mike to star in the Cat in the Hat movie. He never wanted to sign up for that, and he really made it known how badly he did not want to be there, because according to people who worked with him on set during filming of the Cat in the Hat, Mike was very rude and dismissive, and he refused to talk to anyone. He became a hermit and a diva apparently, and this whole experience and the subsequent film were all so bad that Dr. Seuss's widow said that she would never allow Hollywood to make another movie based on Seuss's books again. He really wanted everyone to feel the same displeasure he was feeling about the film, but that certainly wasn't fair to the other people who worked so hard to bring it to life.
Starting off our list at number 10 is Lucy Liu, who got one of her co-stars fired from the movie Charlie's Angels. The movie remake came out in 2000 and had Lucy Liu starring as one of the private investigators who answer to their boss Charlie. Bill Murray took on the role as Charlie, and he just so happened to be the one who was fired from the franchise. Apparently there was a lot of tension between the actor and Lucy Liu on set while filming. Lucy reported that he told her in front of everyone on set that she can't act and that he didn't know why she was cast in the movie. According to Us Weekly, that's when Lucy allegedly started throwing punches at the actor and they physically had to be pulled apart. After the incident, she demanded that Murray be fired. Filming was almost finished, but her demand was taken seriously as his role was replaced in the sequel. Everyone else reprised their roles but him, and there is no way that that is just a coincidence. In at number 9 we have Will Smith, who was known for his beloved role in the sitcom The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. The show portrayed a very loving and close family bond, but apparently the off-screen feud between Smith and his co-star Janet Hubert became a big problem. Smith openly talks about the feud and told Jet magazine, and I quote, "I can say straight up that Janet Hubert wanted the show to be called the Aunt Viv of Bel-Air show. No matter what, to her I'm just the Antichrist." He went on to explain that she was constantly demanding things that were just unreasonable. Janet responded to his comments in an interview and stated, "He has gotten me fired from the show and now he's trying to snatch my career away from me." To this day, the two stars have never resolved their issues. NBC refused to discuss their fighting and said her dismissal was because she became pregnant, which violated her contract. Sliding into the number 8 spot is Lisa Ray McCoy, an actress who has always prided herself on her professionalism in the acting industry. However, her personality clashed with her co-star Stacey Dash while on the show Single Ladies. Stacey Dash first got known for her role in the teen comedy movie Clueless, where she soon became a celebrity. According According to Lisa, the two of them were always butting heads, and she claims that Lisa would question every aspect of their scripts and tried to always be the center of attention. Stacey's final moments on the show were a feud between the two ladies who were getting in each other's faces over a disagreement on the script. Lisa tells her side of the story by saying, and I quote, "In Hollywood, I learned to be a boss. I had to say to Stacey Dash, if you don't get your mother effing finger out my face." So for our second season of Single Ladies, there was a replacement for Stacey Dash. Just like that, the actress was in fact replaced. In our number 7 spot is John Stamos, or you might know him as Uncle Jesse from the TV series Full House. He was the hilarious and very handsome uncle to the two toddler Olsen twins who played Michelle at the time. Turns out John tried really hard to get the Olsen twins fired during the first season of the show, and he was successful. You might be asking yourself, what two toddlers could possibly do for someone to want them fired? Well, apparently they cried all the time. John has no problem admitting the story and opened up about it during an interview with Television Critics Association by saying, "It's sort of true that the Olsen twins cried a lot. It was very difficult to get the shot, so I said get them out. That is 100% accurate." Turns out the twins really were let go, and they replaced them with some red-headed actresses who they tried out for a while but apparently didn't work out. The Olsen twins were eventually brought back, so this story has a happy ending, but I can't believe that they were ever fired to begin with. And because of Uncle Jesse, out of all people. My mind is blown. At number 6 we have Charlie Sheen, who teamed up with his co-star Selma Blair for the TV show called Anger Management. There seemed to be some major problems between the two of them while working together on set. The two of them never got close, and she claims he is the reason she was eventually fired from the show. She went to the show management to complain about his work ethic and his bad behavior. After she complained to show management, she quickly realized her dismissal was in Sheen's control. His family company Sheen Productions helps make the show, so they took her complaints as talking about the actor behind his back and criticizing his work. Sheen wrote Blair a nasty text message referring to her as a C-word and told her that she was going to be let go from the show. She went on to file a lawsuit against the production company demanding that they owe her $1.2 million that she would have made if she would have stayed on the show. Halfway through our list at number 5 is Alec Baldwin. The actor himself isn't perfect as he's run into some trouble with the law in the past, but apparently his co-star Shia LaBeouf had more issues when he was fired from the show they worked on together. The two of them briefly worked on a Broadway production called Orphan back in 2013. Alec tells a story that he was attacked by Shia one day on set in front of everyone. He explained the incident saying, "One day he attacked me in front of everyone. He said, 'You're slowing me down and you don't know your lines. And if you don't say your lines, I'm just going to keep saying my lines.'" The two of them continued to argue over what he said, and later that day Alec took the stage manager to another room and said to them that one of them has to go. He claims that he even offered to leave and told them not to fire the kid, meaning Shia, but they ended up firing him anyways because of his bad attitude. Alec later told Vulture during an interview that Shia is used to the film world where they make a lot of money, so they think they have a sense of entitlement. He said that he thinks Shia was very surprised that it didn't work that way in the theater world. Coming in at number 4 is Sharon Osbourne. The British legend has made a name for herself in Hollywood over the past couple of decades. You can find her being the lead host on the entertainment show The Talk, where she was hosting alongside Leah Remini before she got her fired. The host seemed to come and go on the talk show as headlines have flooded with various people being fired and replaced. Morning talk shows like The View and The Talk have a revolving door policy, whether it comes from behind the scenes or even the audience's preferences. Well, Leah is one of the many who was fired from the job back in 2012. Apparently, Sharon Osbourne has power over the other hosts and also the producers. The two of them often butt heads and had disagreements while on set with each other. Leah was unexpectedly fired from set one day, which made headlines because the feud went to Twitter. Remini tweeted out, "Sharon thought me and Holly were ghetto, that we were not funny and were awkward and didn't know ourselves. She has the power that was given to her." Sharon then tweeted out a response that she said she had nothing to do with the actress getting fired. The two of them to this day have not spoken ever since. What do you guys believe? Let me know down in the comments. Alright guys, at number 3 we have Bill Cosby. Nowadays his reputation has been completely damaged following the sexual assault allegations against him by multiple women. But back in the 80s and 90s he was incredibly popular thanks to his title role in the Cosby Show sitcom. Actress Lisa Bonet played his eldest daughter Denise on the show and was even given her own spin-off series called A Different World. But when her personal life changed and she got pregnant, apparently Bill fired her from the show. The director of the show, Debbie Allen, opened up in an interview with the Archive of American Television and said that shortly after Bonet married musician Lenny Kravitz and revealed she was expecting a baby, Cosby nixed her role from from the show. Lisa has opened up about her side of the story and said she explained to Bill that she wanted to use her pregnancy on the show. She said it would be a great thing to see a girl who is an upper class kid having a baby and not being married, and that girls could root for her. The director and Lisa both say that Cosby replied with, and I quote, "Denise is not pregnant. Lisa Bonet is pregnant, not Denise. So no, you can't have it. No, we're not gonna do it. No." Lisa finished off her last brief time on the show but was ultimately let go because of creative differences. In at number 2 is America Ferrera. We first got introduced to the actress in The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, but she then landed the lead on a popular TV series called Ugly Betty. The show is having a guest appearance by Lindsay Lohan, which they spent weeks promoting everywhere. Her guest appearance was originally scheduled for 6 episodes but was cut down to just 4 when America and Lohan began to clash. America wasn't impressed with Lindsay's unprofessional behavior and didn't appreciate that she showed up to set late every day. According to People magazine, I quote, "Lohan and her people were so destructive that her dressing room had to be repainted when she left." Reports claim that she showed up to set with a group of people every day and that they would all smoke inside the room and trash it. Sources who were close to Lindsay stated that America was mean to her and had producers kick her off the show. America was the series lead, so it's no surprise that she had some power over the guest star, especially one who was acting the way Lindsay was. Taking the number 1 spot on our list is Tori Spelling, known for her role on the hit TV series Beverly Hills 90210. There have been many rumors floating around about the feud between her 2 co-stars Jenny Garth and Shannon Doherty. Apparently they weren't just rumors, and the 2 girls had an epic battle on set which led to a fist fight. Tori recalls the incident and explains it as, "I remember I could hear the door fly open and everyone was screaming and crying. That's when I was told the boys just had to break up Jenny and Shannon. It was like a fist fight." Tori was particularly close to Jenny and also had her issue with Doherty, who has burned other bridges in Hollywood because of her bad attitude. Tori admitted to Entertainment Tonight that she was responsible for having her fired and that she went to her father about the issue. Her father is legendary television executive Aaron Spelling. Tori didn't take joy in having her co-star fired, and she explained she felt she cost someone their livelihood and that Shannon is not a horrible person. However, she does believe her decision to have her fired was the right one.
Number 10. Tom Hardy vs. Charlize Theron. Mad Max Fury Road is a forgotten gem in cinema history. It featured little to no CGI despite having some insane visuals, and it also featured some stellar performances from its cast, including Nicholas Hoult, Charlize Theron, and Tom Hardy. Charlize and Tom played the main characters, Furiosa and Max, and while their on-screen characters ended up working together in the end, on set there was a very different vibe. Tom had a bad habit of showing up late all the time. Meanwhile, Charlize was a brand new mother who would be there on time every day while her kids were forced to be taken care of by someone else. In a book called Blood, Sweat, and Chrome, The Wild and True Story of Mad Max Fury Road, writer Kyle Buchanan shared an instance on set between Charlize and Tom. Everyone was on set at 8 AM ready to shoot except for Mr. Hardy. But to make a point, Charlize took her place and stayed there until Tom showed up. 3 hours later. She didn't move a muscle, and according to the crew, she was beyond furious. When Tom finally showed up, she asked him how he could be so disrespectful and said that they should fine this C next Tuesday $100,000 for every minute that he's held up the crew. Yeah, she didn't say see you next Tuesday, but the word she did say set Tom off. He rushed up to her and pulled out the whole "what'd you say to me?" thing, you know, like, "oh, big tough guy, I can't hear anything." Overall, Charlize felt very threatened by Tom and had to have an assistant follow her around on set as a buffer between the two. When the shoot wrapped, the tension was gone and things seemed to have gotten better, but the difficult shoot combined with the stress of the project is most likely the reason that there was never a Mad Max 2. Number 9. Ryan Gosling vs. Rachel McAdams. The Notebook is considered to be one of the greatest romantic movies ever made in Hollywood. Oddly enough, the on-screen couple did not get along at all during the shoot. They would constantly fight on set and seemed to have completely different ideas on how several scenes should be played out. One day in particular was pretty exciting for anyone who wasn't involved, you know, drama watchers who were sipping their tea. Ryan called over the director and demanded that Rachel be replaced by another actress to read her lines with him. In front of 150 crew members, he claimed that Rachel wasn't giving him anything to work with, and the two would constantly yell on set. Their toxic on-set feud somehow morphed into a toxic relationship that lasted for 2 years. Anyone who worked on on the set blames them for constant schedule setbacks and creating just an overall difficult work environment. Number 8. LL Cool J versus Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx has been a huge star in the world of Hollywood over the years, working with several acclaimed directors in every genre under the sun, but like most actors, Jamie had to start somewhere, and that somewhere was in the film Any Given Sunday from 1999, alongside Al Pacino, Cameron Diaz, Dennis Quaid, and of course, LL Cool J. Cool J and Jamie played teammates in the football-centric flick, and not only do their characters constantly fight on screen, but behind the scenes they had an actual brawl that ended in Miami County Police being called in. During one scene, the two were scripted to fight and filmed the first 2 takes as planned. However, some offset beef made its way in front of the camera when Jamie struck Cool J for real, splitting his lip open, and an all-out beatdown took place, leaving Jamie unconscious and in the hospital. They had to stop production because they weren't sure when Jamie would actually be able to return and film his scenes. When Fox did return to the set, it was with a small crew of friends and his manager. Waiting to greet them was LL Cool J and half of Brooklyn, according to the director, who stated that the tension was only settled after the real-life football players that the characters were based on came on set to defuse the situation. Number 7. Ryan Reynolds versus Wesley Snipes. Ryan Reynolds is known for many things. He's got his toe dipped into the world of adult beverages, wireless cell phone coverage, and he's even a soccer coach. Or football for our friends in the UK. One of his most iconic roles as an actor is of course the Merc with the Mouth, Mr. Deadpool himself. However, in 2004, Ryan was a part of a different Marvel movie. As some may know, the original Marvel movie that started this whole live-action comic trend was the Blade trilogy, starring Wesley Snipes as the titular vampire hunter. By the time the 3rd movie of the franchise rolled around, Wesley Snipes was just kinda done with working on set. He hated the way the franchise was turning out, and all of his creative suggestions were quickly shut down. His main problem was the fact that Blade Trinity was written as like a straight-up comedy movie when the previous entries were more dark, action-based movies, filled with gore and some pretty stellar fight sequences. So when Van Wilder was cast to be his co-star, he kinda gave up. He famously refused to film several scenes unless he was allowed to wear his shades on set. Apparently he was like micro-napping during takes, because he just didn't care anymore. Ryan played a big part in his difficulty enjoying the shoot. Apparently he made it his mission to make Wesley snap. He'd constantly do bits, push things too far, and just the general Ryan Reynolds chaos that we're all used to at this point. At the end of the day, Blade Trinity ended up burying the franchise and was one of the most chaotic and toxic films ever made in 2004. So, number 6. Vin Diesel versus The Rock. Remember everybody, family. That's it. That's my intro. Dwayne and Vin Diesel met on set of the 5th Fast and Furious movie, Fast 5. Very creative title. This was Vin Diesel's 5th movie, but it was Dwayne's first, not just in the franchise, but in the acting world in general. At first, everything seemed to be okay with these guys on set. Fast 5 made a lot of money, and they asked Dwayne to return for 6 and 7. However, something changed in 2016 when in a now deleted post Dwayne called one of his fellow Cast 7 co-stars a candied bum bum. He didn't say bum bum, but I'm not allowed to say that real word on the internet, so I must speak like a toddler. He actually said a word that rhymes with grass. Rumors began to fly that this was more than likely referring to Vin Diesel. Rumors proven only a week after that post was made. Following the premiere of Fate of the Furious, Johnson posted on Instagram thanking all of his fellow cast members by name, but he left Vin out of the equation. It was later confirmed by Fast and Furious co-star Michelle Rodriguez that there was a massive amount of tension on set of the film. They were bros at first, but as the time went on and the franchise evolved, so did their egos. They fought constantly over who should receive the most screen time and who was the real lead of the franchise. You know, toxic masculinity and all that. To keep both actors happy, Johnson was given a spin-off in which he co-starred as the lead alongside Jason Statham, and Vin Diesel was left right where he belongs, with his family. I know it's a bad impression, but it's a fun word to say in his voice. Number 5. Bill Murray versus Lucy Liu. Does anybody else just get the most hardcore Charlie's Angels flashbacks when they see these two together? No? Fair. Sony's first foray into the world of Charlie's Angels was a massive success when it was released, starring Cameron Diaz, Drew Barrymore, and Lucy Liu as the titular angels. The movie was filled with action, a little bit of comedy, and one of the strangest performances ever delivered by Crispin Glover. Seriously, that guy needs help. One interesting addition to the cast was the inclusion of Ghostbusters alumni Bill Murray as the man behind the microphone, Mr. Bosley. Apparently, the set was anything but a comedy after Bill found out a scene had been rewritten without his knowledge. approach. In an interview with the news outlet Deadline, Lucy Liu spoke up about her time on set and the situation surrounding Bill's outburst. Apparently, Bill was away for a family event when a scene needed to be reshot for the movie, but instead of using a stand-in, it was decided that the scene could be filmed without Murray's character being involved, so it went on without him. When he returned to find that the change had been made while he was gone, he was furious and reportedly shouted at half of the crew, including Lucy herself. At first, she wasn't sure why he was aiming his comments at her. She didn't write the scene, she wasn't the director, so she asked if Bill was talking to her specifically, which apparently sent him into a full-blown meltdown. She decided to speak out on Bill's behavior on set, and he was ultimately written out of the sequel. Lucy is proud for speaking her mind despite being a relatively unknown actor at the time, and is very glad that Bill's career seems to have suffered for it, because Lucy was just the first of many celebrities to comment on his behavior. We'll save that for another time. Number 4. Will Smith versus Janet Hubert. Will Smith got his big break in the acting world thanks to his successful time on the hit sitcom Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. The show followed Will as the titular prince, living with his wealthy family in Bel-Air, surrounded by cousins, uncles, and of course, Aunt Viv. In season 1, Aunt Viv was played by a woman named Janet Hubert Whitten, who, as many know, was recasted after an on-set feud with Will Smith just went a little bit too far. According to Will, Janet viewed him as the antagonist of her life. She had been in the business for years when suddenly this man popped into her life, and she held a tinge of jealousy towards Will as he just walked into town and he got a gig. Well, that's what happens when you're good at your job, Janet. She was trying to convince the producers to give her character more screen time and allow her to breathe on camera, but they said no because it was not the Aunt Viv show. She fought back hard, but it was ultimately decided that she would be asked to sit out for the rest of the series and be replaced by Daphne Maxwell Reid, who is the Aunt Viv that everybody knows and loves. Number 3. Tom Hardy versus Shia LaBeouf. Making a return on this list is Mr. Tom Hardy, but this time it's with Shia. This was an on-set feud that was innocent from the perspective of the actors, but not the people who were making their movie. In 2012, Shia and Tom starred in a period piece crime drama called Lawless. It was a pretty solid movie featuring stellar performances from both of its leading men. In 2019, on an episode of the popular talk show Hot Ones, Shia addressed the rumors that he had knocked out his on-screen partner Tom during the shoot. According to Shia, the two were closer than people think and acted more like college buddies than enemies. Shia claims that the two would wrestle a lot on set and that it would sometimes distract people from their work. The rumor that he knocked Tom out was actually started by Tom after he fell down the stairs one night, and apparently he was getting ready for his role as Bane in Christopher Nolan's third Batman movie at the time, and Shia claims that the main reason he wanted people to think he was in a fight was, again, big tough guy. Their feud may have been innocent between themselves, but to everyone on the outside, Tom Hardy was about to pile drive Shia LaBeouf every 5 minutes. Number 2. Ray Fisher versus Joss Whedon. Ray played a major role in the 2017 DC movie Justice League as Cyborg. Not only was this the first live-action iteration of the character for film, but he was also the first black superhero in a leading role in DC. According to Fisher, he was mindful of this and he delivered the best performance that he could, and honestly, it was a great performance. There have been way worse actors involved with DC, and Cyborg was one of the best parts of the 2017 version. Now, I keep saying that because, as some may not know, the original director of the movie, Zack Snyder, was forced to drop out of the shoot midway through production due to a personal tragedy. The studio decided to bring in Avengers director Joss Whedon to finish the project, and at first he was just supposed to direct the movie, but he ended up rewriting most of the script and reshooting several of the scenes already finished by Zack. This is where the tension started. Joss did not appreciate any outside input on his script, and Ray was a very vocal performer who wanted to stick to the original vision that Zack Snyder had. A vision that we actually got to see in 2021 thanks to the Snyder cut of the film being released. It's 2 more hours, but it's way better. Ray claimed that Joss was not only dismissive towards his ideas, but that he was an absolute monster to work with. Following the release of the film, Fisher voiced his complaints to DC and Warner Brothers, who opened a brief investigation into the situation, but quickly dismissed the case, claiming that there was insufficient evidence to prove he was telling the truth. Thankfully, several of his co-stars and crew members backed up those claims that Joss was a very angry, racist, and just manipulative boss, creating an extremely toxic environment on set. The backlash from fans, combined with the hashtag Snyder Cut, allowed Warner Brothers to finish Zack's original vision for the project and release a 4-hour Snyder Cut in 2021. Not only is Cyborg's storyline much better in this version, but the project overall is considered to be one of the best DC movies ever made. And at number 1, James Franco versus Tyrese Gibson. So this feud was brought to my attention by a fellow host here at the studio, video, and I had never actually heard of this movie before today, but once I found out it was between James Franco and Tyrese, we had to include it on this list. These two start opposite each other in a 2005 dramatic piece called Annapolis. The story follows Franco's character wanting to attend the titular Naval Academy and entering into a boxing tournament against some of the Navy's best and brightest. His main opponent is Tyrese Gibson. Throughout the majority of the filming, James and Tyrese would regularly practice the choreography for the final fight of the film. Now, method acting is one thing, when you just pretend to be someone else all the time and that's it. But it's different when you're literally punching your co-star for real. Instead of the normal film choreography allowing actors to fake hit each other, Franco was throwing real punches without warning. Gibson tried to be civil at first and asked him to lighten up. Franco ignored him and just continued to box his heart out. When asked about the incident in interviews, Franco defended himself by saying that he was aware that he made the set difficult at times and claimed to be so wrapped up in his role that he probably wasn't as friendly as he could be. Gibson, however, holds a massive grudge towards Franco, claiming that he would never step foot in the same room as this man ever again. Good news for Tyrese, James got cancelled and Fast 11's coming soon.
Starting off our list at number 10 is Lindsay Lohan. The actress refused to kiss Charlie Sheen when filming Scary Movie 5. If you've seen the movie, you might be thinking, Jocelyn, they did kiss, get your facts straight. Well, here are the real facts. Turns out it wasn't actually Lindsay that you see kissing Charlie Sheen, it was actually her body double. The actress opened up and said that from the time she signed on for the movie, she made it clear that she didn't want to kiss the actor because she had concerns about his wild partying history. But the producers didn't even attempt to change the script until after filming had already begun. Maybe they thought that they would just change her mind by then? Who knows, but by the time it came down to filming the kissing scene, she was still refusing to do so. Eventually, a body double was hired to fill in for some of the kissing scenes, and some of the other ones were completely taken out. When Charlie was asked about it, he said he had no issue with Lindsay's requests. Well, good. No hard feelings then. At number 9 we have Denzel Washington, who refused to kiss his co-star Julia Roberts in The Pelican Brief. There are probably tons of people who would have jumped at the opportunity to lock lips with Julia Roberts. I mean, the actress has been named the world's most beautiful woman 5 different times. However, Denzel Washington apparently didn't have much interest in locking lips with her, so he opted out of their kissing scene in the 1993 film. He reportedly decided not to film the scene with her because he didn't want to play into Hollywood's biased beauty ideals. A writer for Newsweek and Daily Beast, Allison Samuels, talked to him about his decision in her 2007 book. During her interview with him, he said, "Black women are not often seen as objects of desire on film, and they have always been my core audience." He went on to say that the kiss between him and Julia would give into the world's standards, and he just refused to do that. Taking over our number 8 spot is Will Smith, who refused to kiss his unnamed co-star in the movie 6 Degrees of Separation. The 1993 movie was inspired by the real-life story of David Hampton. Will Smith took on the lead role in the movie, and his character was gay, which is what caused a lot of controversy. According to The Independent, and I quote, "Smith enraged his director when he refused to perform a passionate male-on-male kiss facing the camera." Apparently, the actor says he sought out advice from another actor, Denzel Washington himself, who told him, "Don't be kissing no man." Smith continued to insist that the scene be shot from behind so that he could fake the scene. As time went on, the actor has come forward and said he regrets that decision. He told Entertainment Weekly that his refusal to perform the kiss was, and I quote, "very immature on my part. I wasn't emotionally stable enough to artistically commit to that aspect of the film." What do you guys think? Apology accepted? At number 7 is Leona Lewis, who refused to kiss Chase Crawford in her I Will Be music video. The actress says she wanted to be a loyal girlfriend, which is why she refused to kiss the Gossip Girl hottie during the video shoot. She said she didn't want her boyfriend to get too jealous. She hired the actor to play the love interest in her music video, but then refused to lock lips with him. You can imagine his confusion. During an interview, she explained, "I think my boyfriend would get jealous if I was kissing them, but I'd never do that. They wanted me and Chase to kiss in the I Will Be video, but I said no way." I mean, wow. You gotta have some respect for the loyalty like that. Sliding into the number 6 spot is Kimberly McCullough, who refused to kiss an older co-star who goes unnamed while filming General Hospital. This is probably why we need the Me Too movement to be in effect in the industry right now. The actress was expected to do an on-screen kiss with a 22-year-old when she was only 14 years old on General Hospital. The adult male goes unnamed because he was reportedly making sexual jokes about the scene he was going to film with the underage teenager. To make matters matters worse, the young actress wasn't told her co-star's age until the day of the shoot. The producer told Kimberly that she was required to do the kissing scene. Kimberly says she continued to complain and refused to do it, so eventually they just settled for a kiss on the cheek. Halfway through the list at number 5 is Sienna Miller, who refused to kiss James Franco while doing their indie film Camille. The two of them didn't have any personal beef, so she had no problem taking on the role as his new wife in the 2008 film. There was a major lack of PDA considering the movie is all about a pair of newlyweds, but it was that way for good reason. The actress didn't want to kiss James during filming because he's, kinda low-key creepy. It was actually because she was having a big problem with her teeth at the time. Turns out Sienna had a history of teeth issues, and while she was filming, she had to call an emergency dentist. So even if she wants to make out with James, she couldn't have. It was just too painful. Swiping our number 4 spot is Kirk Cameron and any of his other co-stars really. The actor rose to fame because of his role on ABC's family show called Growing Pains. That's where he met his wife, Chelsea Noble, and he promised her that he would never kiss another woman. He is a committed husband and also a committed Christian, so he made this promise as a part of their marriage. Kirk admits it has had an effect on his acting career ever since then, but he's okay with it. In 2008, he starred in the movie Fireproof, where he had a kissing scene with the woman who was playing his wife. The directors decided to work around this issue, and they actually dressed up his real wife and then shot the kissing scene in a silhouette theme. Not every director would be as accommodating, but Kirk made a commitment to his wife, and we can tell he is determined to keep his promise. Alright guys, at number 3 we have Janet Jackson, who refused to kiss Tupac in their movie Poetic Justice. The two of them were beyond adorable in the romantic drama, but apparently there was even more drama behind the scenes. Janet had restrictions to do love scenes with the rapper because of his reputation as a ladies' man. She went as far as insisting that he got an AIDS test beforehand. During that time, the disease was known to be spread through saliva, but apparently the rapper refused because he was completely insulted. In the end, Janet didn't even win the battle, and she ended up kissing him for the scene anyway. But she has had no problem admitting now that for a while she refused until a blood test was put in place. So, why'd you cave, girl? What made you change your mind? Here we are at number 2 with Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio, who both refused to kiss each other while filming Revolutionary Road. We've seen the two of them play a couple before, so why was it so different this time around? Their chemistry in Titanic was off the charts, but the couple refused to kiss while filming the 2008 movie. Turns out there was a good reason. The film's director, Sam Mendes, was Kate's husband at the time. The two of them did it out of respect for Kate's relationship. Fans felt robbed by the movie because they were excited to see the two of them reunite for another movie after all these years. Who wouldn't want to see Rose and Jack back together once again? But I also think it is totally rad that they respected her husband like that, so I kinda see it both ways. Taking the number 1 spot on our list is Neil McDonough and any of his co-stars. We have another actor who has committed to his wife that he won't ever kiss another woman, including a co-star. He takes the number 1 spot because he remained so true to his word that it led him to getting fired from a TV show. The actor is a married man with 3 children, and he thought that taking parts in love scenes would clash with his Catholic views and his reputation as a family man. During an interview with Christian Examiner, he said, and I quote, "Killing people on screen, that's fake. That's not real. When you're in bed with another woman on screen, guess what? That's real. I don't like that kind of stuff. I don't want to have my kids say, hey dad, what are you doing with that lady on screen?" The actor has every right to stick to his beliefs, but that doesn't mean it won't affect his career, unfortunately. He was starring on the TV show called Scoundrels, but was let go because he refused to do any kind of intimate scenes. The reason the show fired him wasn't because of his beliefs, but producers say they sent him a script in advance and he was aware of the scenes but never said anything about it.
At number 10, Kaylee Cuoco and Johnny Galecki. It turns out that these two stars dated on and off screen, but not everybody knew about it. Big Bang Theory stars Kaylee Cuoco and Johnny Galecki have had a pretty solid relationship over the years, but it turns out that not everybody knows just how close these two are. On an episode of Dax Shepard's podcast, Kaylee spilled the beans and exposed her old relationship with her former co-star, telling the audience that she and Johnny had dated for 2 years during the show's run. Opening up about the whole thing, Kaylee told Dax, quote, "We dated really early on for almost 2 years. When we did the pilot, I was crushing so hard on Galecki, but he had a girlfriend. We got together and just fell mad for each other for 2 years, but then we broke up. Luckily, Johnny and I came out of it so brilliantly, and we're closer today than we ever were." Even though Kaylee and Johnny are better off as friends, it makes things a little clearer when you look at the chemistry that their characters had on screen. It's good to know that even though things didn't exactly work out romantically, they're still very close. At number 9, Ashley Benson and Cara Delevingne. For Ashley Benson and Cara Delevingne, they like to keep their private lives private, and that includes their love life, but just because they kept their romance out of the spotlight doesn't mean that fans wouldn't go looking. Since the moment people found out that they were working on a film together back in 2018, the speculation arose surrounding their potential relationship. In April 2018, the two were filming the movie Her Smell, and not too long afterwards, in May of that year, the relationship speculation came about after Ashley posted their first selfie together on Instagram. Following this event, fans couldn't lay off looking into their supposed relationship, though the pair never confirmed anything. These fans were certainly dedicated to sniffing out their relationship. Both Ashley and Cara went on record saying that even if they were in a relationship, they wouldn't confirm it because they'd like to keep their private lives private, but soon enough the pair was spotted kissing in public and basically confirmed all of the rumors. Finally, in June 2019, Cara confirmed that the two were dating and that they had moved in together, making their fans jump for joy, but unfortunately their relationship wasn't meant to last and the couple have since broken up. But I mean, they really went a while without publicly announcing their relationship, so they got to savor those moments without much scrutiny. Now, before I carry on with the video, I would like to take a moment to ask you guys to consider leaving a like on this video because it really helps us out a lot, and also, some of our friends from Most Amazing Top 10 have a brand new channel coming out called Bumblebee, and if you love strange and mysterious content, keep an eye out on August 11th when their first video goes live, so make sure to go subscribe to them now and tell them that we sent you. At number 8, Brenda Song and Macaulay Culkin. I guess you could say that for these two, the movie Changeland changed their lives forever. But I'll take my leave. Former Disney Channel star Brenda Song and former child actor Macaulay Culkin got together after working on the film Changeland after being introduced by Seth Green, and from that point on, it's been the two of them against the world. Their relationship is public knowledge now, but that wasn't the case at the beginning of their relationship because they kept their personal lives to themselves. Rumors of their relationship only started swirling in 2017, but they never publicly addressed it until 2019. Between that time, when people would ask about the rumor that they were seeing each other, they would basically respond with the good old no comment response. Once they officially went public with their relationship, that's when we got to find out the juicy details regarding their pets, what they like about each other, and how in love they are. To make things even cuter, Brenda and Macaulay recently welcomed their first child in April of this year. At number 7, Matthew Broderick and Jennifer Grey. One of my favorite movies of all time is Ferris Bueller's Day Off, so to find out about the secret relationship that was going on the set of this movie is an extra special treat for me, and it might be for you as well. Turns out that Matthew Broderick, who played Ferris Bueller, and Jennifer Grey, who played Ferris's sister Jeannie, were actually a couple, and they were even engaged at one point. According to Jennifer, the romance started while they were filming Ferris Bueller, saying that it was a little difficult for them because their relationship was a secret. Their romance even affected their work because even though they were supposed to be playing rival siblings in the movie, always being at each other's throats, Jennifer would say that they would often break character, saying, quote, "I got the giggles so bad that they basically had to stop production. I full on couldn't get it together for anything. The producers were like, take a walk around the block, and I would, and it would start again. It was painful. The giggling was because of all the energy between us." At number 6, Vanessa Hudgens and Josh Hutcherson. Raise your hand if you didn't know that Vanessa Hudgens and Josh Hutcherson dated. Don't be shy, it's okay if you didn't know, because apparently a lot of people didn't. Turns out that Josh and Vanessa dated sometime around 2011. Now, we don't have much information about their relationship because it was kept so hush-hush, but what we do know is that it happened, and then it happened while they were filming the movie Journey 2. The two met on set of the film and hit it off from there, but their relationship was pretty short-lived. The public only found out that they had briefly dated when the two of them were doing press for Journey 2, and someone asked how long they'd been dating. There's a video of the cringy revelation that they had dated and broken up already, but because I like you guys, I will spare you that agony. But if you want to go watch it on your own time, after this video of course, just don't say I didn't warn you. At number 5, Kit Harington and Rose Leslie. I think I speak for many Game of Thrones fans when I say Kit Harington and Rose Leslie's relationship had us going for a wild ride. Kit Harington and Rose Leslie met while filming the second season of Game of Thrones, and from then they haven't looked back. They're the ones who gave us the iconic you-know-nothing Jon Snow, and from that point we knew they were perfect. After seeing their chemistry together on screen, fans started suspecting that maybe there was something there that was a little bit more than friendly, and soon they were being spotted together in public and and rumors started swirling of a relationship beginning to blossom between Jon Snow and Ygritte. They kept their relationship pretty private for the most part, as fans only had rumors and speculation to go off of in regards to their favorite Game of Thrones couple, which was a little annoying, but hey, what are you gonna do? It wasn't until 2016 that the couple went public with their relationship, with Kit confirming that they did fall in love while filming Game of Thrones in Iceland. The couple later got engaged in 2017, married in 2018, and they recently welcomed their first child together earlier this year in February 2021. Happily ever after. At number 4, Nina Dobrev and Ian Somerhalder. When The Vampire Diaries was still on TV, that was a weird time for all of us. At least for us angsty teens with way too many feelings. A lot of us got way too invested in the show and with the actors, so when Nina Dobrev and Ian Somerhalder started dating, it's no wonder they wanted to keep it private. These two actors reportedly started dating while working on the show in 2010, and they were able to keep it pretty much under wraps for about a year. The couple dated for 3 years, but they kept that first year completely to themselves. They were one of those couples who were able to turn their on-screen chemistry into a real relationship and remain friends after they broke up. Fans of the show were obsessed with Nina and Ian's relationships, so much so that the couple won an award for favorite on-screen chemistry. In 2012, there was a rumor circulating that they had gotten engaged, and though they denied that, fans still remained skeptical, though it didn't matter in the end since they ended up breaking up. They still remain on good terms, and apparently Nina is good friends with Ian's wife, so it all worked out in the end. At number 3, Lily Reinhart and Cole Sprouse. Sticking with the theme of teen drama actors and their fans who are way too obsessed with their personal lives, we have Riverdale stars Lily Reinhart and Cole Sprouse. From very early on in the show's run, Bughead was really what fans got excited for. Bughead, for those who don't know, is a ship name for Cole and Lily's characters, Betty and Jughead. So when Bughead became a real thing, fans were over the moon, but it took them a little while to clue in because Cole and Lily were able to keep their relationship a secret for quite a while. There was speculation that the two started dating in early 2017, but it wasn't confirmed until later that year when Lily posted a beautiful Instagram post for Cole's birthday. They never really exploited their relationship much, even after it was confirmed, and tried to keep their personal lives private. In 2018, they made their relationship red carpet official as they attended the Met Gala together, but even then the details of their relationship remained pretty minimal. In an interview, Lily said, quote, "No one knows how long we've been together, and no one will until we're ready to say it. No one knows how we fell in love except for our close friends and us. It's really special." Sadly, for Bughead fans, they've since broken up, but their relationship will still be remembered as one of the sweetest. At number 2, Alexis Bledel and Jared Padalecki. There's nothing better than finding out some juicy secrets about one of your favorite shows years later. That's what fans of Gilmore Girls experienced when they found out that there had been a secret romance that went undetected between Alexis Bledel and Jared Padalecki. It turns out that though they were love interests on the show, their chemistry bled into real life and they had dated while filming the show. But this secret was kept until 9 years after the show ended. Nearly a decade later, and fans of the show finally get to know what was going on behind the scenes. Don't know why they kept it a secret for so long, but hey, at least it's out now. And finally, at number 1, Ross Lynch and Jazz Sinclair. Fans of the chilling adventures of Sabrina were over the moon to find out that 2 members of the show's cast were in a relationship. This revelation came 2 years after it was suspected that there was a romance brewing between Ross Lynch and Jazz Sinclair. As per usual, fans and press alike were searching for clues as to what was going on between the 2 stars, but they were pretty good at hiding their relationship. Fans only got confirmation of the relationship after they went TikTok official in 2020, after they posted a video of the 2 of them dancing together and almost sharing a kiss. Ross and Jazz remain in a relationship, and I personally hope that they never break up because they're just so cute together.